Hello, how you doing out there? This is the Random Horror Show. I'm your horror podcast host, is Keisha Lacey, and thank you for listening to this train wreck of a podcast coming straight up out of the Iron Pine Current in East Texas. And of course, here at the Random Horror Show, where we keep it random and goofy and everything else going off on tangents, but we talk about horror, science fiction, fantasy, cult classics, and the obscure in movies, television, and books. And thank you so much. Thank you to my wonderful podcast listeners out there that has been ride and die with me. For those who are curious on what is this show and everything, go check it out. Our episodes and stuff that we have from the Random Horror Show. And this is our prom season horror prom season double feature of Prom Night and Hello Mary Lou Prom Night 2, the sequel to Prom Night, but it's not really actually technically a sequel to it. They just used the name just to get that money. You see what I'm saying, get that shmoney. But I feel that like this is very appropriate, especially this is prom season. I'm very swamped with prom DJing, and that's very exciting right there. I also DJ'd for my old high school. That was really wonderful right there. I had a really great time. I'm glad the kids had an awesome time of enjoying themselves for the prom. We know that prom was kind of held back for like almost 2 years because of the pandemic and everything, but I'm glad that seniors and juniors are right now are enjoying themselves and really feeling back somewhat back to normal of like having a prom and stuff. Prom is supposed to be a special night. Sometimes it can be a horrible night, but these two movies, these two double features of prom horror slasher supernatural films, oh gosh, break out with the corsage and get ready for the terror. And these two wonderful, very ballistic B movies of of the 80s. I mean, you just cannot go wrong with a good horror slasher film, especially that is dealing with prom. Like I said, special time for you know sex. Some people get pregnant on prom night. Maybe some of you people who are listening have been a result of prom night. And then, of course, drinking and a whole bunch of stuff right there. And I'm just remembering when I actually went to both of my proms. I wore a dress to my junior prom. Didn't spend that much money, but I had a beautiful corsage. I had a prom date. He was a guy that was me and him. We were really good friends in high school. Had a wonderful time. Stayed out and everything. That was really interesting. And then I almost had a heart attack because like my grandparents and my dad, they're just like, yeah, we're gonna let you stay out for prom. I'm like, what? I get to stay out at 17 years old and I'm gonna be drinking, you know what I'm saying? They knew that I was gonna be drinking and stuff, but you know what? Hey, it's prom. They're like, we know she's gonna be drinking and smoking and stuff like that. They knew I was doing that as it is anyway, so they just like, let her have fun. They did just like, just let her have fun. Now, one of the things that I'm going to be talking about is that at both of my proms, I had a couple of teachers that were they used microaggression against me on about my dress for my junior year and my tuxedo. I had a women's tuxedo for my senior prom. This one right here, I really went out with it. I spent over like at least like $130 with this. I know it was like big time money for like an 18-year-old to like spend that much money on a prom tuxedo. And I was like, which actually has a common theme, especially with the second segment of our double prom horror feature of Hello Mary Lou Prom Night 2. Um, our character, um, Vicki, she decides to change it up a little bit for her senior prom. Of course, she found some other shit and everything. She was very unexpected, but the current theme of like with that is that our villain, the unrested soul of Mary Lou Mahoney, she did not give a damn what anybody say. She was very apologetic. She was awesome of as she is, when she was alive, and as well as her character spirit regained the strength to like terrorize the high school and possess Vicki in the movie. But I had this tuxedo, women's tuxedo, very cute. I was bougie, classy, sophisticated in this damn thing. And before y'all talking about I slay, I slay. I'm just gonna tell you this right here. In 1996, before slay was ever invented and born and everything, your girl, your horror podcast hostess, was slaying like a motherfucker in 1996 at her senior prom. Baby, I had the stilettos that I borrowed from my mom, and also jewelry. I had that good old little cool ass little French bond and everything, that 90s haircut, with a kind of like a slightly like a little mullet, type of thing, like the black hairstyles back in the day. Uh, I had that going on right there. And I was like slaying like a motherfucker though. And I said, I'm finna show up and show out. And that's exactly what I did. And I was very unapologetic for that. They seen that I was very different. I had a very different attire from the rest of the girls. They had strapless dresses, spaghetti dresses, things like that. They all of them looked gorgeous and beautiful and everything else. They really did. But guess what? There was a few teachers that had an issue with this girl, Keisha, coming in with this tuxedo. It's like a man's tuxedo. We gotta tell her to take off her jacket, and we gotta judge her halter. First of all, these are girls that have like cleavage showing and stuff like that, which I ain't got a problem with that and everything. That's what they can do in their dresses and everything. That's what they chose. But my shit was like covered up, but it was like cute, but it's classy, but it gives you a little bit of imagination of what's really up under there and stuff. But it was cute though, and I'm gonna go ahead and link that shit up in my Instagram so y'all can see that right there. And yeah, there was like a couple of teachers, lady teachers, older lady teachers had an issue with that. It's because I did not, quote unquote, dress like the other girls. You see what I'm saying? And I thought about that. And I was like, even when I had a dress as a junior for my junior prom, they still had an issue. And I was like, I want to be different. I do what I want to do. I'm very comfortable and confident in this women's tuxedo, and I brought it. I brought that shit. I'm telling you, I slayed like a motherfucker. I slay, I slay. Um, I always slay. I always slay. I've been slaying since 1996, so don't get that shit twisted. But yeah, I was thinking back on that, and I'm like, I'm not mad, but I look at it and I was like, wow, those chicks are so wrong to be doing that. Um, and it just seems like I always had um, people always had an issue of the way how I dressed in high school. That's the reason why I don't like to talk about high school as in the past. Like I said, I've deleted mostly like most of my memories of high school because it's not even worth it. It's actually ain't even worth a shit as it is. Anyways, I had that mindset of like, I get my education and then I get the fuck out. That's how I looked at things. And of course, I had my fun too, but I'm not one of those people, how like people like, oh my God, look at horror school, and they just like start crying and like in their late 40s, like having a midlife crisis or some shit like that, and they're still bitter about it. But just like talking about this, I still rock that shit. And you know what? I ain't even mad at them ladies and stuff, because you know why? Because like shit, they old. Oh gosh, but their mindset was just so ignorant. It was very ignorant and everything, and like I was just like, bruh, like but you have like those, you still have it in society of where you still have people policing women's bodies. And these are older women that were like policing my body. They did not police really any of the girls because they thought they were fine like they are. And of course they like, and it was, the real deal was is that um I didn't give a damn. I was confident. I bought my shit. They didn't. And I'm gonna wear my beautiful, awesome, cool ass, you know, women's tuxedo, and you ain't got a motherfucking thing to say about it. And that's how I looked at it. And I was just like, y'all don't have nothing better else to do. I mean, y'all should be worrying about other important things than to be worrying about my beautiful black ass and my gorgeous, sophisticated, bougie, popping, slaying 18-year-old self, looking really nice and cute, for my prom. And of course, I did not have a date. Of course, that attracted a lot of attention right there. Um, and I believe, and you know what? And I was like, I was like, you know what? They were intimidated by me. They was intimidated that this girl does not have a prom date. She came up here with these damn tuxedo. We gotta pick on her for some fucking reason. And I was just like, wow, you're fucking boring. That's so boring, because there was more important pressing issues than for you to judge my halter when you had this girl had like a backless, dress and a bunch of titties, but jumping everywhere and tits everywhere and stuff. But they looked lovely and stuff, but I guess they felt like she might be trying to bring she might be a lesbian or something. No, if I was, it's none of your business. It's none of their business. We come there to have a good time, rocking our best beautiful shit that we either have found at Goodwill or we spent money on. We spent money on our hair and our nails. Guys spent money on renting tuxedos, limos, going out to eat, and everything else. You gotta let kids be kids. You gotta let them have their fun. And that was the one thing that some of these teachers back then, when I went and I was thinking, I was like, wow, you really don't want me to have fun. I was like, that's real fucked up. It's real fucked up, but guess what? Your girl was dancing. She had fun, lots and lots of fun. And you know what? I still have the picture of me in my tuxedo, and I just look at that and I was like, you know what? I For somebody that didn't have like a really great 4 years in high school, I was basically just I just want to just get my education and just go and get the hell out of high school. I also did have a couple of, I think two teachers that actually did have an issue with my dress at my graduation. And I was just like, you got to be kidding. I was like, y'all just not going to let this go. And I was like, you know what? They just did not like me because I was different. Shit, that's their fucking problem. That's their problem right there, but that's okay. That's how high school is. And, you know, he must be, I think that teacher, particular one, probably did that because I did have a crush on her son. And I guess that was her way of picking on me and saying, like, you're not good enough for my son. I was just like, it's high school. People have crushes. You know, you can't help but have a crush on somebody. It's like, it's no biggie. You know what I'm saying? No big fucking deal. But he's married. Congratulations to him. Um, I actually did try to. I did contact him because I wanted to write an article with him and his wife. Um, and I was like at a different topic, with interracial dating and stuff like that. He never did respond, but I was like, I don't care. You know what I'm saying? I guess he thought like, oh my gosh, she's being weird. She's just trying to like, But I asked him, I was like, hey, ask your wife. If you want, and I showed him like my blog at the time and everything else like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just like, yo, I'm being legit, and it's not like I'm just like, that's really fucked up. But I got to thinking about it. I said, you know what? He could have said, no, that's okay. Thank you very much for the offer. But, we kept it silent. And I was like, you know what? I was like, well, he's an asshole. He is an asshole to think that. And I was like, what a piece of shit. And guess what? I was like, that's the reason why we call them crushes and everything, because they usually don't last fucking long. But I have no ill will to him or whatever, but I was just like, years back, I was just like, wow, you still have that mindset of thinking that I'm finna, oh God, I was like, oh my God, pathetic. That's the reason why people don't even fucking know me. They really don't. They really don't know me because they just see surface and they think, I don't know. I really don't care. Um, I'm one of those real ass bitches. I don't care if you live or die. Pulling some Mary Lou Mahoney on y'all's asses. But anyways, enjoy the double horror prom special feature of Prom Night 1980 film with Scream Queen herself, Jamie Lee Curtis, and Hello, Mary Lou, Prom Night 2. The Canadian film came out in 1987, starring Michael Ironside. All right, I'm back. Go ahead and grab your corsages, your dates, your beautiful dress, your handsome tux. Sneak that booze in that punch bowl and bring your knife, axe, or whatever you prefer for prom night. Prom Night is one of those films, like I said. It does star Jamie Lee Curtis. She plays Kim. It does start off as like, Kim as, younger, and she has a brother and she has a sister also. That I think they were like twins, or they were really close in age. But there was like some kids that were playing an old abandoned like a building or like an old school or something like that, and they were playing killer, and this is what sets the tone of why this is happening in prom night. I remember, like, in those days, like, that's what kids did. We played a lot of fun. Sometimes it's a little bit little creepy games like that, like Killer, or if some of y'all are very familiar, High Go Get It, and it's not High Go Seek, it's High Go Get It. You may ask, what's High Go Get It? High Go Get It is where you hide and the person that's just trying to find you. if you're and you have to have girls, and so this little dirty little game that they played in the neighborhood. When they changed the rules and said like, "Are we gonna play hide go seek?" I got excited, and then they said, "How go get it?" I was, "Oh fuck that shit! You're not trying to look at me naked, or you're not trying to feel on me, disgusting, gross." But it does start off like with them playing killer in this old abandoned building. You know, the little girl, she sees a guy, and his name is Nick, and she just thinks, no, not Nick, I'm sorry, but I think it is Nick. Boy, I am like not on today. Um, yeah, but she thinks Nick is cute. She thinks it's cute. But there's other girls that are there. There's Kelly. There's Wendy. And what's the other girl's name and stuff? And I forgot the other girl's name, but she was like really like kind of wussier and shit like that. But she was went up there to like, oh, okay, they're playing killer and stuff like that. Well, Kim went somewhere. She just kind of ran off, and her brother like kind of like ran off a little bit, going to the house. Kim was supposed to be responsible for both of her brother and her younger brother and sister. So her little sister went up there. She got caught in this game that they were playing, and she was just like, like, oh, it's a fun game. Her brother told like, nah, bro, like, nah, sis, like, they ain't trying to like play with you. And we got a lot of that back in the 80s and stuff. Like somebody's like, oh, we want to play, and they're like, no, you can't play. We had to handle rejection like that. Sucks, but we did. And that's just typical kid shit right there. But when this game got a little bit too much out of hand, the sister fell out the window. She died instantly, and oh my gosh, the whole window pane falling on top of her. Oh, that was just so. Oh, that was so distraught. I was so distraught right there. I was like, oh my god, the window. But I liked how they did the um the kills in this one, because it wasn't like you see them doing the action, but it created that anticipation of the killer in this movie, which happens to be um, the deceased sister's brother. And we didn't know, I mean, you can figure it out that it must have been somebody that, like, you know, knew about this whole secret. Well, the kids, during that time, when she fell out the window, Wendy was like the ringleader, like she was like top bitch or something like that. She was like top bitch, and she's like, nobody must not say anything. We keep this as a secret, and so they kept that secret for a long, long time. And you could tell Wendy was the ringleader of this this little clique that they had. Well, they all grew up, and it's their senior prom. Kim is grown, she's a senior. She's actually like going out with one of the guys that were, was there when her sister, fell out the window on an accident. And he was very interested in Kim. He broke up with Wendy because like I said, she was like the head bitch. She was the HBIC, the head bitch in charge of like the little high school, excuse me, the little childhood clique. And she was very, very upset because, he didn't want her. It was like over, and she tried so hard and hard to like get him back, and everything else just failed. So, this is kind of like, if you look at it, like watch this movie, it kind of does kind of like have that whole Brian De Palma, Carrie-esque feel with it, especially with Wendy, of planning something to like get back at Kim, because she's a hot, and upset because her guy don't want her, and he just like, you're a super bitch, and I'm done. I want to get with Kim. You have like that whole total like high school girl jealousy type shit right there. um, in this case, and of course, when we watched Carrie, when Cece Spacek, who happens to be a East Texas native, she's from Winsboro, Texas. um, we with Carrie White, she was made fun of because she was the weird girl, and nobody didn't understand her. Of course, she didn't know she had telekinesis powers, and a very dominant, like religious fanatic mother, played by Piper Laurie. Piper Laurie did a fantastic job playing her mother. Piper Laurie has also been in Twin Peaks. Oh man, when I got excited when I watched that show, and when I seen Piper Laurie, I remember Piper Laurie was in Carrie. So you have like that Carrie type. We're gonna get revenge. If you remember John Travolta and Nancy Allen, if you remember Nancy Allen, she played Lewis on RoboCop in RoboCop 2. So that was Alex Murphy slash RoboCop's partner. She was the one that wanted to be very malicious towards Carrie White because um, she was like a bully right there. So you had Wendy. Wendy was like that bully, but she was more of like she controlled uh some of her childhood friends and everything. So with that being said, I think that's the reason why some people were not like feeling that movie, because it felt like it was stealing from Carrie, especially getting the revenge part at the prom. I don't know about how people felt that it may be mimicking that, but in a way, I kind of feel like it just pulled just a little bit, but not too much, from the whole "we gonna get back at Carrie White," set up the pig's blood, on top of the scaffold, whenever she gets prom queen, type thing right there. But this one is just more, this is more personal, of Wendy getting back at Kim because of her God, while like in Carrie, this is more of like being, the whole school, especially this one girl, she just like felt so threatened, by Carrie, that she just like, I just gotta make her feel like horse shit, you know, um, and let her know that she needs to remain in her place as being like this small type of, just a small ant and everything. And but with Wendy, we're just gonna break it down with Wendy and everything. Wendy is, like I said, she's the head BIC, you know, in charge, and she is a very rude girl. You could tell like how entitled she was, the way how she spoke to her mother. You can tell that she used like all of her like feminine charm to like get a guy that had like a similar, like I said, this is where like you could see like, okay, well, they're copycatting off of Carrie, is because the guy who was helping Wendy, his name is Lou. He was like one of the, he was like the bad dude in school. He was like bad news. He was a juvenile delinquent. He smoked in school, like on school, in the hallways. He had like that, and he did. He had a similar hairstyle, just like John Travolta and Carrie. And like I said, opinions are opinions. So, um, I think that's like, maybe that's the reason why it was like it was lukewarm. People liked it. People like, it's all right. Feel like. Then some people like, well, this is like stealing a lot from the movie Carrie. But yeah, she convinces him to do that. And of course, like she's dumb, she's sad, but she's like, I'm gonna get revenge on Kim, because guess what? Kim is actually the daughter of Mr. Hammond, which is played by Leslie Nielsen, and he is the principal of the school. And so, um his son gets in trouble for, jumping on Lou because Lou was just being very lewd to Kim, and he was just defending his sister and everything. And of course, like Lou gets kicked out, he's suspended from school for like fighting. And of course, he had his little old lackeys behind him, tearing up, old little homeboy's ass and shit. But like little homeboy had like some game though. And then of course it all gets started, the phone calls of like, to Wendy and her friends who were there when when his sister fell out of the window. He was reminding them that, hey, look, I'm in his raspy ass voice. Um, you know what? I'm gonna get y'all for prom. So they just like, oh, these little weird calls and stuff like that. And it kind of like dismissed it a little bit. And of course, like during that time, there was like always, there was no caller ID. And there was like people always doing like weird, raspy voice, murdery ass sounding obscene phone calls. That was abnormal, but it was kind of like a sort of not too much of a norm, but shit like that did happen a lot. And it was some real creepy shit back in the 80s and stuff. But thank God we have caller ID for that, because that shit was annoying as hell. It was annoying as hell. It really was. Also, we also like have like where you have the whole popular van culture. One of the girls was asked out by a guy that had a van, that was very, very popular back then. Oh, a guy has like this real cool hip tricked, van, but vans now it's like associated like, oh my gosh, don't go close to that van and stuff. This is like the rise and the beginning of like a lot of child kidnappings and stuff. And they always said, like, man, if y'all see vans, black vans, white vans, whatever vans and stuff, don't even get close to them. Start like running away from the vans and stuff. But back then, I was like kind of looking, I was like, tripping out. And I was like, that guy that had that van, if you will place him in this time of day, he would not make it. I was like, I think he will like be like an incel or something like that. But I was like, you know what? I guess that I was like, you know what? That did fit back then. He wasn't like extremely handsome. He had the glasses and the curly hair, and he was a bit chubby and stuff. He's a little bit overweight, but like I was like, shoot, like, work your magic, bro. Work your magic, bro. I was like, with the van right there, you know how to do it. And he did it too, but he got his date and everything. They also like placed different suspects and stuff. Okay, at the time when that murder actually happened, it wasn't a murder, but the young girl fell out the window on an accident. They placed the blame on a criminal who was a sex offender. Um, and he like escaped out of the mental hospital. Now this like really just amped up the mystery of like this movie. Now 6 years ago when the young girl died, they pinned it on this sex offender, and they put him locked away in the key, lock away the key, in the mental hospital. Just to like say, hey, we got the criminal, hey, it was a sex offender, yada yada yada. And it was, of course, it was a lot of if you think about it, it was a lot of cases and things like that, where police, actually pinned the wrong thing on the wrong guy or whatever, because they had like a violent criminal past, or they had something to do criminally with young children. And 6 years now, he breaks out of the mental hospital. He has killed a nurse, stole her car, things like that. And this is which, alarmed like the police and stuff. They're like, oh, great, this dude is like coming back within 6 years. We put him away. and we gotta like be right here, at this prom. Now they are reporting, telling the cops that like, hey, there is, this guy is out on the loose. We have received obscene phone calls from somebody that we don't know. They also put like a pawn character also in this movie, which is one of the maintenance men. The maintenance man, he looks like that type that would, may do something to a bunch of teenage girls on campus. But again, like I said, you got a little bit of that Brian De Palma Carey-isms in this one right here, is because Carrie White, you remember her character. Well, the maintenance guy character at the school, you could tell, he was, not very bright. He did his work, he trimmed the hedges. He didn't have like that typical like, ooh, maintenance guy man, but he had like that real creepy look with him. And then Kim made a comment to her father like, oh, that guy stares at all the girls' asses, and he creeps us out. And her father's like, I don't think you need to worry about that because he's been checked out. He was like, I hired him. I don't think he's going to be doing anything like that because he was basically right. Just because of his appearance, just because he stares at people a lot. Especially the girls, he probably it's the me to me, he stares at everybody else. And I was just like, he was just basically saying, don't judge a book by its cover, to Kim, which transitions to that right there is because her and Nick are actually going together. Like I said, Wendy is like pissed off to the heavens and shit because Nick is going to the prom. She's doing best she can to like win him back. It's not working. But one thing that, like I said, never judge a book by its cover, is that Kim does not know that the guy that she's going to prom with, the guy that she really likes, the guy that she's just like thought he thinks he's so amazing, is a part of her sister's accidental death. And that right there is what is so blindsiding about like this about Kim and everything. Like Kim's character is like, since her sister's death, she has very matured into like a protector. You can see a little bit of that Lori from Halloween in Jamie Lee Curtis character Kim. She doesn't take any shit. She's cute, she's sexy. You know, I guess for a high schooler, but then again, it gets a little like, I noticed that I was like, I mean, I know Jamie Lee Curtis was a little bit probably like in her like 20 or something like that when she did this movie. But like I think it threw in a little bit of that, like, ooh, look at her, this is a cute, sexy, senior right there. But you can feel like that underlying like sexual, innuendo like within like Curtis's character Kim, because like I said, from her like grieving and things like that, it transformed her to be a little bit more responsible with people. She's a little bit more alert from her peers. Kim is like the everyday girl next door. Yes, her dad is the principal. Yes, she does have a little brother. He's pretty popular in school, but she's popular also, but she's not snobby with it. She gets along fine with everybody. She's just like, hey, yeah, I'm just Kim, I'm just me. She was being her. And that's when a lot of things started to like happen. There was in the shower. There was some glass that was broken. She was very brave and shit. I mean, I'm telling you though, I'm telling you, if I go somewhere scary ass on a scary haunt ride or something like that, I'm taking me a bad bitch white girl with me. This ain't scary. It's scary to me. I'm dead ass serious. I'm like, come on, girl, let's go. Let's go. We're gonna go look for if I have to look for some files or something, and it's in an abandoned hospital or abandoned insane asylum or something like that, or somewhere in the woods. I'm taking me over, girl. She's gonna be right up on top of me, and I go look where I need to go look for. But she was like, she didn't have like that fear with her. She just knew that like, okay, this is strange, broken glass, but she noticed that was, one of the girls noticed there was a piece of glass that was missing. Also, the mysterious person that was, harassing and, terrorizing the ones that, which is the brother that, off his sister on an accident. He ripped pages like out of the yearbook. He put their faces like on their, in their lockers and everything. He was like dead ass serious because he was just like, I'm not playing with you. Y'all are going to really literally die. This was the brother's way of getting revenge for his sister because he knew that those four were very guilty and they just went on about their lives. And he was so remorseful that, I miss my sister. Why did she have to die so young? Y'all are like having the grandest ball time of your lives, and my sister is in the cemetery. He have to see his mother um, distraught every year, the anniversary of her death where they visit her grave. I mean, that shit burned his ass up right there. It really did, but it did take like a very deep psychological twist with him of where this is reason why like grief counseling and things like that is very important. Of like, he decided, I'm gonna put this facade on that, I'm cool, I'm this, that, and everything, but really my ultimate plan is to off all four of them on prom night, and I'm gonna get away with it. And the brother was really spry than a mofo. I mean, he was spry like a motherfucker. He just didn't have like that super built speed like when you see slasher mystery horror movies. He did have lots of agility. I tell you that he had lots of agility. And even when the fight with Lou and the other guys, you can literally tell, like right in that scene, that it's going to be him. He is the killer. He was going to kill all four of them to get revenge for his sister. Because I was looking, I was like, oh shit, like this dude ain't no punk, he ain't no punk. I mean, he was like handle it on his own, just like Kim. Kim can like handle it on her own also. And I feel that like from like this tragic death of their sister, one have actually Kim, she has turned, to be much stronger. He actually got more stronger like with his, physicalness, but he was actually, very broken because he was just grieving and mourning the death of like for 6 years of it with his sister, and it really it devastated every one of them, but the one person that it really affected the most, and if he felt like is the need to like end that shit all to end his pain, was her brother. And so there was like I said, there was some really good kill scenes, and like I said, I like the anticipation of it because you didn't see how he did the action, but you knew that he was doing it. And then of course, like when he did it, he flopping down and you see them, their throats cut, things chopped off of them. The one badass scene that I really liked in this movie is the whole, the other girl, she got the van dude, and they dipped out of the prom, and they were having sex, and of course the drugs, the smoking weed. And he had a whole bunch of joints like hiding up in that book though. I was like, damn, bro, shit. Got that good kush right there. Not only you got a badass van, you got that kush, bro. Mm. And he was watching them in the woods, and of course, he was trying to wait for the right moment to get, the girl. Um, Sad to say, he got the guy. Also because he's like, I'm not gonna let any loose ends be in this, so he had to kill the van guy also. But back to where I was saying his agility and his quickness and stuff, it was like really on point. And of course, that kill that he did with the girl, um, got her throat and everything, and you didn't see it, but you can like, but you just like, oh shit. And I like, that's the one thing that I liked about that, is that I don't see the whole action of it. It's like some things that, we all seen, like the whole, we're gonna cut their throat, we're gonna chop their heads off, and like in many, many horror films. But I liked how they kept it to, like, it was kind of like PG, but it was still like rated R, because you still had some boobs in there, you still had your blood in there. Um, but like, yeah, that whole like scene of him and the guy getting into it, that was like pretty badass, and he fell like off the cliff, and the whole bomb ass van and his weed and everything blew up in there. I was like, shit, you know. Also, another great scene was the part of they were presenting the king and queen. Um, you know, oh homeboy Lou, he got it. As another innocent. The guy in the van and Lou was the innocent ones that got killed. And Nick uh was knocked out and everything. He fell back because the guys, whenever they were putting had Wendy's plan and had it going and everything, they didn't know where Wendy was. They're like, ah, screw her, we just go ahead with the plan. They also knocked him out. They put him on the side. So, old brother dearest and everything, he mistaken like Nick as like Lou, excuse me. It was actually Lou, but he mistakenly thought it was Nick, and so he just chopped his damn head off, and his little head just rolled down that little stage and everything, and scared the crap out of everybody. And of course, like, everybody ran, and then I don't know why everybody told like stop running, like, stop running for what? It's Lou's head chopped right there. That was a really good head chop, and I like how that rolled down, and I liked how they placed the actor that played Lou. It wasn't like a typical, just a, like a Friday the 13th like head roll shot, but they actually, I could tell that they had the actual actor, and they cut a hole, and everything else, dee like that. Thank goodness for practical effects. That was a really good practical effect. Of course, couple of scenes, like maybe like 3 or 4 minutes, down from that, it was like a fake head, but that's okay, because like really that practical effect of what they did, that was really memorable right there. And I do remember at times, like if they show it on TV, you see that scene right there, and that is a very memorable scene from Prom Night. And of course, brother Dearest, he was just all upset. He killed the wrong person, but he seen that Nick actually got up, and then that's where, the real brawling started to happen and stuff. And you see Jamie Lee Curtis just like a wildcat, attacking and, attacking her brother. She didn't realize that was her brother, and he had an axe. Um, and until it was that moment that she seen, and she popped his ass real good with the damn axe. I mean, she popped the shit out of his ass. And she seen his eyes, and she recognized that was her brother. And it killed her to it just killed her inside. I liked how she recognized who chopped off Lou's head, but she didn't know that he also, killed Wendy. That was a really good scene. From Wendy. Wendy, like I said, Wendy was the head bitch in charge. But Wendy actually seen before she got killed. That was a really good scene of her running away. She didn't do no typical last. Ah, don't come after me. Ah, what are you doing? Oh my God, don't kill me. That's what I liked about this, cause these motherfuckers do be fighting, and they're not trying to like fall down the stairs and shit, and put their little hand up down. I mean, each kill was very different, but I liked Wendy's also, because Wendy was like, I ain't going out like no straight punk. She was like that until she seen her dead friend. She screamed, and that's what happened. And of course, the axe went at her, and then that's where, the whole scene goes blank, and it goes, into another scene. And but yeah, I really liked how these characters in this movie were like, they put up a fight. They really put up a fight, because they knew that this person was a human being. It's not no boogeyman or anything else like that. And that's how people are. They, flight or fight response. You either going to run or you're going to fight. It was a bit of both and everything. Now, now the whole part of like the man escaping out of the mental hospital that they wrongly pinned the murder of the young girl and everything. He has killed the nurse. They found him. It was. I find it a bit. I find it to be a bit not really like too much part of the plot, because that was just a little bit of a plot hole right there. I think they should have done a little bit better job of like maybe like they could have did that with the maintenance man. But then again, the maintenance man actually found one of the bodies, and he was there, and he told him he was like a murderer. You got to remember, and they took him and they handcuffed him. They thought he was the one, and he wasn't. And that was like showing like a prejudice, because, you know, like I said, you never judge a book by its cover. Even though he is totally, totally innocent, he valued his job. Yeah, he wasn't like the brightest person and things like that. And he probably like classified as like, like especially, mentally handicapped and stuff like that. But, the attitude back then of how they looked at people that are like special needs or mentally handicapped or whatever, like, mentally, they had a really funky attitude towards that. And that's what I never understood about the attitude that they have with people that have special needs and things like that, is because just because they did not have like the average brain intelligence as like a average human being, does not mean they are going to be a murderer, or they perverted and all that bullshit. But the attitude back then, there it was very harsh, and people, there were special needs, um, back then. They were treated like crap. They were treated like crap. They really were. They were treated like crap and everything. And just thinking back when I was in school myself in elementary, I remember there were people just picked on and just being very manipulative with a few of the special needs young students. They were guys, and they would just be so mean to them, and they didn't know. They thought they were being, oh, they're being friends with me. They really like me, but they really wasn't, and that was just so mean. And I just, oh, that was just like burn my hide. And of course, back then I was also picked on too because I had buck teeth. Um, my home situation was best and everything, and I was picked on myself, so I seen how that was with them, and that's the reason why I'm like, them people, they're like fucking awesome ass people, and no cap, they're so cool. And I used to work with special needs young adults and everything, and they are truly truly amazing. And one little secret and everything, when you a newbie and you around them and you thinking, uh, oh, you feeling all sorry for them. They're like, we're finna pull some shit on you. Oh yeah, they be selling them damn wolf tickets though. They sell them wolf tickets. They break you in and everything. They really break you in. They give you a run for your money and shit. Oh yeah, they know what's up. They special. Yeah, they special. All right. Shit. They don't come to play and got the sweetest hearts and souls and everything else. I tell you that. But yeah, they actually, like I said, this is like we don't, judge a book by its cover type of thing right here. Um, the part I didn't like is that, Nick is trying to tell Kim that he was one of the people that are responsible for her younger sister's death 6 years ago, but that did not come about. I think they should have I think they should have literally um placed that a little bit differently, to where like Kim is really really devastated. She's devastated, not, her sister's gone, then finding out her brother is the one that murdered these three people in revenge of their sister. And and I think that, like, I feel with that ending that they had, it was a bit short. It was it's like a it was like a flaccid boner to me. It was like you felt the emotion, like at the end of where she finds out she's crying, and he's crying. He also has his mother's lipstick around his lips, so that's a very interesting. Um, that's very interesting right there. He steals his mother's lipstick and put it on his lips, and I guess he wanted to be pretty that day, that night to kill. But then again, you gotta like understand like these little plot holes, like how he was with the lighting and like the DJ and stuff. By the way, it was the disco era of that time. Disco died around that time also, so you get like great footage of like people dancing to disco and disco music and how they how they jam back then. And I was just like wondering, like, through these plot holes that they have, like, how come nobody didn't notice where was the brother at? They should have said, like, hey, where's such and such at? Where's Kim's brother? He's supposed to be helping with the DJ, with the lighting and things like that. So that is very odd right there. And it's like nobody did not, like, really noticed him during the time that he murdered those people. And but like I said about the ending, is that I think they should have made it a little bit longer. I believe that like Kim being a very smart young lady, that like she should have like put two and two together about that Nick was part of her sister's accidental death. I think that like it should have been like a confession like out of the little brother to say like, yeah, your boyfriend, the prom king, killed our sister, you know. I was there, you know. I was there, sis. I was there, sis. You know, your boyfriend and everything. I think that would have like really, really, like really just amped up that tension in that last scene in that movie. It would have like I mean, it would have been like shit hitting the fan. The mystery is solved of knowing who the real people are. It also would have explained, you know, why he did it. And the oddest thing throughout this movie is that you see Leslie Nielsen maybe like 20 minutes in this movie, and then you have Leslie Nielsen no more. Maybe he had another movie project or whatever. Maybe he was filming Airplane or something. You never know. But I noticed that because usually a principal is there at the prom all the time. Principals are always at the prom. No shit on that. But Leslie Nielsen, Mr. Hammond, was not there. And I was like, that's odd. Hmm. So that does raise some questions right there. But what I think about prom night, it's okay. You know, it is a like mystery horror slasher. Um I think they would have like explained a little bit more. I think that the kills are really nice. I like that the characters did fight back. Um you know, I like Jamie Lee Curtis in this movie. She was just like, you know, from her being Laurie in Halloween, you know, this is like her building up her career. And of course, you know, she comes from, you know, famous parents also. You know, her father is Tony Curtis. Um, I think her mom is Janet Leigh. I believe it is. It may be. I may got her mom like a little bit mixed up. I think Janet Leigh is. What's that lady name? It's Antonio Banderas. Ma, what's her name? Melanie. I forgot. Melanie Griffith. That's it. And of course, Melanie Griffith used to be married to Don Johnson. And of course, you know, you got that connection. Don Johnson and Jamie Lee Curtis was in Knives Out. That was one of my favorite ass movies. That movie was bomb right there. That was like a bomb ass, like, yes, Jenny Lee. I know my shit. I know my shit. I know my shit. Tippi Hedren is Melanie Griffin's mom. That is so correct. I'm telling you, I'm having brain farts and everything. but but yeah, that's Jamie Lee Curtis's parents, you know, Tony Curtis and Janet Leigh. And, you know, I should have known, but I was like, I had a brain fart. No, it's Tippi Hedren. That's Melanie Griffith's mom. Yeah, but yeah, you had that little connection right there, you know. Knives Out with Don Johnson. That's pretty cool. I like old Don Johnson, I really do. But like I said, this movie, like, I mean, it's for fun, but you know, you can call it like a Carrie, imitation of Carrie or whatever, just not without the supernatural powers. You know, I guess you could call it that. But I see why, like, people felt like, you know, this is like, you know, they stole from Carrie. I could see that too, but you know, they did their best. But I find it very enjoyable and entertaining and stuff like that. And of course, you know, it has Jamie Lee Curtis when she's, you know, she's building up her career. And of course, there's a lot of scream queens, you know, her, Lainey Quigley, Nev Campbell, to name a few, that have been in slasher horror films. So there you go. But anyways, that's enough of my time, and thank you so much for listening to the Random Horror Show, with our double feature of two prom movies. Um, prom, prom. And for everybody that's going out to prom or have a child that's in prom, I hope they be safe and they have a great time and everything else. And thank you so much. And we will be back with our other feature of Hello, Mary Lou, Prom Night 2. Welcome back to the Random Horror Show with our double prom slasher horror feature. Double feature, that is, with the second segment of this show of Hello, Mary Lou, Prom Night 2. They say this was a sequel to Prom Night. No, it wasn't. The only thing that was in conjunction with this was just the high school name. And that was it. That was the only thing that they did. The reason why they used that Hello Mary Lou Prom Night 2 is because of the name of the movie, and the story is totally different from the first, but it's not really a sequel. This just like looking in like, hey, it was a cash cow. We're gonna use this name. We're gonna pump this bitch up, and they did a very strategic and successful marketing of this movie right here. It is a Canadian horror supernatural film. I particularly love Canadian horror films like Pontypool, uh, Black Christmas. There's a couple of others in here. Of course, it has those Canadian actors all up in this bitch. You know, we got like boom, boom, boom. You know, we got Michael Ironside. Michael Ironside, y'all. Who does not light up like a kid on Christmas Day whenever you see Michael Ironside? I mean, this is not his first rodeo is being in a horror movie. You've seen him in Scanners, that was directed by David Cronenberg. Very, very visceral body horror type of film. I really like Michael Ironside when he plays villains. I like Michael Ironside when he plays villains. I like when he plays bad guys. I love him playing these all different range of characters. He has always had a really good career, film career, for so many decades. I seen him in Nobody. It was so wonderful to see him in Nobody. And I swear to y'all, when I seen Michael Ironside, I was like, I don't even recognize him. He looks like a dead ringer for Wilford Brimley. And if anybody have watched those oatmeal commercials of Wilford Brimley, the old guy with the glasses, talking about he gets his day started with a bowl of oatmeal. Swear on crib, you throw a pair of glasses on Michael Ironside, is Wilford Brimley. I don't think Wilford Brimley, his body has left this earth, but his spirit lives on, and he attached himself to Michael Ironside. But it was very exciting to see him and Bob Odenkirk when playing Hutch in Nobody. I love that film. That film is hilarious. I mean, it's different from horror, but god dang, I Bob Odenkirk. Oh my god, I've always been a fan of Bob Odenkirk. I always thought he was cute though, and he was hilarious. He's great at writing comedy and everything. But I liked him in that movie. But you also have another actor who is not a stranger to horror. He goes by in this movie of Justin Lewis, who plays the character Craig Norham. But He also goes by his real name of Luis Ferreira. His name is Luis Ferreira. Oh, he's born on my daughter's birthday. That's awesome. He is not a stranger to horror. This was actually, he was really younger. You have seen him in Saw 4, Saw 5, and Saw 3D and everything. He's a Canadian actor. He's always, he was also in Stargate universe. He has been around so long. He is very, very, you may know him as Justin Lewis from his earlier years in his acting career, but when he switched his names to go by his real name and stuff, and then you're like, oh, did he go by Justin Lewis? Oh, he's Luis. What? So, you probably get a little confused, but that's who he is and everything. Um, I mean, I think that's really cool that you see like in the 80s of like all the younger actors, you see Michael Ironside, because Michael Ironside at that time, he was really very popular because of Scanners and other different movies that he played. So that was another reason why this movie was very successful, especially at the box office and everything. Just being saying it's a sequel to Prom Night when it really wasn't. But I gotta tell y'all about this bad bitch named Mary Lou Mahoney. Mary Lou Mahoney is the villain that comes back as a spirit, a malevolent, destructive and revengeful spirit, because 30 years ago she was she wasn't really the girlfriend to Michael Ironside's character, Principal Billy or Bill Nordham. There was an accident, a accidental death. She was burnt alive in front of everybody at the prom in 1957. It went down in history as like the most terriblest accident, in the school history. Excuse me. That the prom queen was burnt alive before she got her crown. And Mary Lou was pissed. So she is a spirit that had been wrongfully dead, has died a very wrongful death. And so she waited for the perfect moment 30 years later, to get her revenge and to get her crown. Mary Lou, as they put it, is a promiscuous teenage high school girl. Fuck that noise. Mary Lou was a bad bitch. I'ma say it again while I sip on my coffee. Mary Lou was a bad bitch. You hear that right there? And of course, back in the nifty 50s, or the fake 50s as I call it, she was Catholic. I'm not Catholic or whatever, but you understand there is a very strong religious tone in this movie, of where, during a different time period, girls that were like quote unquote promiscuous was too loose or fast or things like that. Mary Lou actually owned her sexuality. She owned her femininity. I mean, you talking about this bitch is fierce. Like, she was getting men's on top of men's. There was like guys in high school that wanted to get with Mary Lou because she was hot. She was very pretty. She just exuded like all of that raw, just femininity and her her feminine nature and her sexuality. She was ahead of her time. Girls hated her because she was like that. Mary Lou, people would say, and you also have that thing where people would say, just because she was promiscuous, that means that you have like a different side. They looked at her as the bad girl and everything, because you seen that in Grease with Rizzo. And but on a different aspect, you was actually see where there will be, you know, you will see grown men, will see Mary Lou like that, and they will say, "Oh wow, she's very mature for her age, man." And it's still the same fucking thing that goes on right now in society of how young women coming into their own sexuality and and exploring it and embracing it and in their own femininity will either get mocked by it or uh, sometimes you have some parents that control the shit out of it or make fun and mock it, because I feel that like feminine like sexuality is very powerful, and it really is. And during that time period of this story with Mary Lou, is that everybody was intimidated and afraid of like how she exuded that. It did not define her as like she's this hot piece of ass and everything. Like she literally was going out with Billy and Buddy at the time they were teenagers. She was basically kind of like, doing the same thing what dudes be doing and shit. You know what I'm saying? She was like, you know what? Y'all don't own me. I'm not your good motherfucking goody good two shoe girl. I'm Mary Lou Mahoney, bitch. Cause you know what? If you pop in motherfucking Trina and shit and you listen to some motherfucking Trina, you get the whole point with Mary Lou Mahoney. You know what I'm saying? Because like for real, I'm gonna tell y'all, if I have some, I know there's some ladies that's listening. I'm gonna tell you, and this is tried and true because I've done this too many times. Put that Trina, I'm the baddest bitch whenever you going to the grocery store, getting ready to go to the grocery store, church, out on a date night with your husband, boyfriend, whatever. Hell, anything, shit. You single and shit. Put that baddest bitch on there. Put that bad bitch on Spotify, Pandora, wherever, YouTube Music, whatever. Even your CD. If you still got Trina, I'm the baddest bitch. Put that bitch on. Put it on. And see if your motherfucking confidence rise up to the damn sun. Bars. I'm not playing with you. That's a very that's a very good female empowerment song. I mean, shit. I do it every once in a while and everything. Sometimes I don't need it. All I gotta do is just like Trina, baddest bitch. Just like that. Boom, there it is. But yeah, she scared. She was scary to that the people that was in that decade, in that time frame before her untimely gruesome death. And she was just like, I like her little words and stuff, like she said, it's a big free country, and she's right. It's a big free country. She can do whatever the fuck she want to do. If she want to smoke cigarettes, let her smoke cigarettes. If she want to do Todd and James and Billy and Richard and all them and Dick, she gonna get the dick. You know what I'm saying? She owned that shit. And she did not let her religion of being Catholic dictate that for her. She was ahead of her time. But she also was snatching wigs and stuff and everything. She was snatching poodle skirts and saddle shoes and hairlines and everything, because for real though, like she had them girls handled like that. She was the HBIC. She was the HBIC on that campus. And so, Billy got upset. He got all up in his feelings. He got all emotional and stuff. And the reason why he got like that is because she seen him making out with Buddy, which Buddy actually scared the shit out of him because of her death and everything. Is that he turned, he turned into a priest. He went to the straight priesthood and shit after that. Scared the hell out of him, you know. But Billy was in his feelings because, he felt that, like, Mary Lou is my girl, and I have her, I got her. He felt like that, but she was like, scram, cuz, you know what I'm saying? She throw that punch in his face and shit like that, because she was letting him know, like, look, bro, we just here to the prom. Yeah, I like you. You kind of cute, you alright and everything, but you's a square motherfucker and stuff, and I can do whatever the hell I want. You don't own me. She was like, only time you got me hooked, you gotta put a ring on this finger. We better be signing on the dotted line on this mortgage on this first house. And then we're gonna be filing married joint on our tax returns. That's how she looked at that shit. But other than that, she gonna have fun. She's young, she's fun, she's beautiful, everything else. Girls envied her. They wanted to be like her. But they were too scared at that time. Well, of course, whew, that was tragic, tragic, tragic what happened. And then you have Vicki. Vicki is actually the opposite of Mary Lou. And I see why Mary Lou picked her, and I'm definitely am gonna go deep, deep into this shit right here and everything, because damn, I didn't even like realize this and stuff. I was like, holy crap, I just realized this. See, that's the reason why you go back and rewatch movies, because of stuff that you missed and everything. And Vicky she got along with everybody. Now, Vicky did have like her little high school nemesis, whatever it is, but really Vicky wasn't understanding why Kelly, uh, she was, uh, she was just wannabe bad bitch. She thought she run shit, but she really didn't. Um, but she was very jealous of Vicky, because Vicky had a very good disposition about herself. She got along great with everybody. She was on the prom committee. She was also one of the nominees to be selected as prom queen also. And Vicky had a boyfriend, and like, oh, Kelly was just so super ass jealous, and she throw like the worst shitty shade at Vicky so much, and I would be the same thing like Vicky too, like, oh my god, no she didn't, like, she is so stupid. What she was very, very stupid, but like, she called herself trying to be a bad bitch. She tried to call herself being the most popular. I mean, she was popular and everything, but Vicky uh really had captivated her peers of her just being who she is. And that's the same thing of how Mary Lou was. Mary Lou was being herself. Vicky was being herself. Totally opposite, but they were actually polar opposites, like yin and yang and shit like that. So they actually go together and stuff. I thought that was pretty cool. They snuck that shit in right there. Um, and of course, Vicky is Catholic. She comes from a very strict Catholic household. You have the very strict mother, and you have like the okay, honey, type of dad. I love my princess. He was all like that, but I'm going to get right deep into that right there, because whoa, there is some huge elephants in that motherfucking room right in there with Vicky's life. So Vicky, she's like excited about the prom, she has a boyfriend, Craig. So it seems like everything is like really, really perfect. Until one day Vicky goes down into the basement to look for a dress, because she was like, oh, I want something different, I want something a little pizzazzy and things like that, because this is her senior prom and stuff. And so she goes to this old trunk. She was very curious. She opens it up. She sees the sash. She sees the crown. Um, she unleashed the spirit of Mary Lou Mahoney. And when she did that, I see why Mary Lou picked her. She was very perfect for the job for Mary Lou to like obtain her crown and her rightful, ownership of having that moment that she missed when Billy stupid bullshit I'm fucking over emotional and shit ass pull that bullshit. Yeah. So I get Mary Lou right there. I showed it. I get Mary Lou right there. I get a real good, like perfectly girl. Like I understood the assignment. So of course, like Vicki is going through some interesting moments in her life. Um, there's a lot of resentment at her home. She has decided to take a year off to work instead of going into college. Her and Craig are, tight as thick as thieves, boyfriend and girlfriend, and things like that, which poses a problem with her mother because he has a motorcycle. And to her mother, of course, her old timey thinking, oh my God, this boy has a motorcycle. He is probably in that rock and roll music, probably worships the devil. He's in a motorcycle gang and shit like that. But she was judging him because of that and everything when he's actually the son of the principal. So I was like, this woman got some problems. She got some issues within herself. But one of Vicky's friends was not feeling very well. She was very distraught. Um, she was very concerned about her friend. She was very empathetic and very compassionate towards them. Like I said, Vicky got along with everybody in and everybody around the school and stuff. This is also a dealing of an issue of pregnancy when the girl found out that she was pregnant and nobody didn't know what was going on. Of course, that was the first murder that Mary Lou um, got and everything was the pregnant girl, and because she messed with the crown and everything, Mary Lou was like, I don't give a shit about you being pregnant, but Mary Lou Harry, or she's like, well, she fucked with my crown. Mary Lou did not care that she was pregnant because she's this evil malevolent spirit, but I have an issue with that and everything. Is because um I do have an issue with how they presented Mary Lou as like this very vindictive, malevolent, you know, just unspirited unrested spirit, excuse me, is because of her past. And I find that very unfair to Mary Lou's character because they painted this really bad picture of her. Oh, she sleeps with a lot of guys. She drinks, she smokes, she doesn't give a shit about everything. Yeah, I mean, yeah, she was a bad bitch like that. She owned that shit. But to make it like she was just this really horrible, horrible person before her untimely death, that's one of the problems that I actually have. Um, I think they should have worked on for her to be very pissed off of what happened, but not take it to that level to make it seem like, and I understand that was like for her to like her whole storyline to like flesh out throughout the film, but like I think it could have been a little bit crafted a little bit better, but that's just my opinion about things. So Mary Lou, like I said, she is definitely messing with Vicky's head. In the room, she finally got her in the classroom because since Mary Lou is messing with her head mentally, She starts to speak like Mary Lou. She starts to feel like I don't think this is not my body. And Vicky's like, I think I'm going crazy. She tells Craig and a couple of other people that, look, I think this Mary Lou chick that died 30 years ago, I'm seeing a lot of images of her. I'm having like all these like weird hallucinations and everything. I'm not feeling very well. She gets knocked out in gym class because stupid ass Kelly throws the like volleyball and hits her and she gets knocked out and everything. Now that's a mean spirited bitch right there, and I'm glad her ass died in this movie. I couldn't stand Kelly ass. If she was on fire, I wouldn't even put her out. Even put spit or this Ozark bottled water on her ass. I just let that bitch burn. Anyways, that's a character. Y'all pray for me now. mm. But she did get Vicki when she slapped shit out of Kelly and shit. You shut your fucking mouth, bitch. Boom. Fell out laughing. Oh, she had me dead right there. That's my favorite scene. That was my favorite scene. And that whole slap what she did, she like reared back. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't that Will Smith. You know what? I was not going to say that right there. I was not going to say that, but I had to do that. I had to go for that. God, I'm so sick of that shit. But if you ask me which slap was the best, it had to be Vicky's from this movie. It was Vicky's slap was better than Will Smith's slap. I mean, his was like open palm, like don't you say shit. But Vicky slap came back like a pimp, like a rare back pimp slap, and slapped the dog main shit out of Kelly's ass in that classroom. But she got detention, and Mary Lou got her ass. I don't understand what with the chalkboard and the water and the letters swimming around and shit. But she got Vicky ass and had Vicky swimming there in that damn chalkboard. I said, Lord have mercy. I'm like, where is this water coming from? How'd it get so watery up in this bitch all of a sudden? But she was reborn of using Vicky's body. Vicky, the real Vicky, was stuck in limbo inside the trunk in the basement at the school. She reemerged as Vicky. She loved that fucking body, and trust me, she sure did love that damn body, bro. But to address the elephants in the room is that Vicky had her home life is not what it seemed. These motherfuckers kept up appearances. You have a mother. Vicky's mother was very resentful towards her. She did not like that she had a boyfriend. She did not like that her daughter was blooming into a young woman. You feel that tension between both of them. It also opens up the can of worms, and I'm talking about these are two can of worms right here that I'm going to say about the parents and everything. You actually have her dad that has something. He's fucking nasty. Her dad actually lusts after Vicky, his own fucking daughter and everything. I was like, you nasty son of a bitch. But I got to thinking about that. I was like, you know what? I said, I bet you 1,000 pennies that like in her dad's like, life when he was younger, something happened to him. Or uh, he probably is turned off because of the mom, of how she is. She runs that household with an iron fist. It's more like, yes, dear, I can't talk back or I don't have an opinion. Um, Vicky is definitely the apple of his eye and a little bit more. This is the reason why the mom sensed this from her own husband, and it disgusts her. She is so disgusted. And this is going back to where you have Vicky's mom and Vicky is not understanding. The mom is definitely like in her head. Oh my God, she's a woman. I have to repress her sexuality, her feminine magic, her femininity, her power, her sexual power, everything else. She is not giving Vicky any breathing room to like express things like, hey, she doesn't have that relationship like, hey mom, you know, um like the mom and the daughter things and stuff like that. I'm glad I had my mom, I can talk to, even though it was like some things like in our lifetime, especially with her, how her life went down and everything, of how me and her can have a open conversation about sex and sexuality and female empowerment and things like that. And this is all before all of what's going on right now and blah blah blah. It's more prevalent right now in our society, but um I was so glad to like have those conversations with my mother. Vicky could not have that conversation with her mother because her mother like clinged on to her fucking rosary beads and her knee-high ugly ass thigh-high pantyhose and her fucking drab. I was on the fucking Mayflower as a pilgrim wardrobe. She was threatened by Vicky's she was threatened by Vicky. She was threatened by Vicky's budding sexuality. Everything. She was so afraid of it because she felt that she did not have a chance to do that. And she could have had an opportunity to like really connect more with her daughter during her like the prime of her years of her being a senior in a prom and her boyfriend and everything else. It's like this woman did not enjoy having a daughter and she had so much resentment and she blamed Vicky for being for who she is. And I can tell the mom have like noticed how the father have always looked at Vicky throughout the years, and she is so threatened that like Vicky is gonna she was like the mom had so many fucking issues. She really did. The dad has issues also, but those were the can of worms that I seen in this movie that I was like, I get it now. I get it. These are some fucking sexually repressed people with so many demons and so many dark secrets about themselves. I mean, even if you looked at the decor of like the house of where they ate and everything, even the fucking plain ass oatmeal and bullshit, even down to their drabby ass costuming that these parents wore, they was like really repressing a lot of sexual tension. So a lot of times in fucked up ass situations and shit, reading and actually hearing from different people that know or whatever, you have those husbands, they feel that their wife is just used up and dried. She's just a vessel, just a she's just a carcass, just a whole carcass. Yeah, that's my wife. But in his mind, he's like, I want that sexy woman. So he looks to his daughter as like being that sexy, type of woman. And plus, you have those people, it's disgusting about incest, and it's very disgusting when you have fathers that molest their daughters and lust for them is so gross. But there's some weird dudes out there that do shit like that, and what they feel is that they feel that their daughters won't reject them because the mom has rejected her husband for so long of henpecking him like that, and he feels that he is so emotionally shut off from the wife, and the wife is emotionally shut off from him too, that they're just going through the motions. And so he channels all of that in to Vicki because he's like, that's my daughter and she's gonna love me no matter what. Like, he has that. It is deep down inside of him, and it just, because there was a scene in the movie, it was really gross, but this is when she was possessed by Mary Lou, that she was getting ready for the prom, and um she was like, hold me, daddy, because he was going on about his tux and he worked and blah, 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 and took your mother. This was my first job, and I got your mother a corsage and all that shit and everything. He was just so proud. And so when she started to kiss him, and she stuck that whole ass tongue in his mouth, and he was so confused. And it was like when he closed his eyes and he started to, like, he put his tongue in her mouth and to like receive it and shit like that. It was like that moment that I saw, he was like, I cannot believe this is happening. It's like my fucking perverted nasty ass dreams have fucking came true. My daughter fucking loves me. She is giving me that love that I don't get from her mother. I can actually fucking pop a boner. I can actually express like how I really feel about my daughter. Oh, that shit was so fucked up, though. That was so fucked up. That's the reason why Mary Lou picked him. That's the reason why Mary Lou picked him, because she knew there was some bullshit was going on. And it was like that perfect storm for her to really siphon off of that, off of their energy, the energy of her mother, of her being resentful towards Vicki and everything, siphoning off the father of knowing that he is sexually lusting after his own damn daughter. I mean, even with Vicki, she felt like, she actually kind of gave Vicki a little bit of help though, because she was like, Vicki is actually trapped. I know I'm trying to get my crown. I know I done killed some people and things like that, but you know what? I'm gonna give Vicki some help. Vicki just did not realize that she actually, she was actually awakening like all that what she had inside of her. Um, it was like really like Mary Lou's like, yo, it's okay. I know this kind of sucks that I kind of fucked with your daddy and shit, kissed him like that and shit. But like, she was telling Vicki, like, bitch, you better own this shit. You better own this shit. Don't be scared of it. Don't be scared of your mama. That's the reason why she killed her mama and stuff. She's like, don't be scared of who you are. Like, be confident, bitch. Be confident. She actually did give like Vicki some help, even though it was in a kind of a fucked up way of killing people and shit like that. But she did give Vicki some fucking. She gave Vicki some confidence. She really did. She gave Vicki some damn confidence. I mean, Vicki was confident, but she was like, I'm gonna push this through. Don't be afraid of it, girl. Just cause you Catholic and everything else, I see how your parents are, but I'm gonna push your shit through. And she did. Fucked up way, but she did. So she got to the prom. She got that crowd, but guess what? You got old Bill shooting in the head and stuff like that. Shooting her. Actually, she shot it through her chest. Um, because Father Bobby and everything. If I said his name right, I don't give a shit. Warned Bill about what was going on, and he was like, "Yo, Mary Lou back. She finna get her revenge. Fool. If you want to be like Father Karras off of like The Exorcist and everything, you better be the body of Christ compel you, you better burn some candles and shit, and douse yourself with some. He's like bathe in the holy waters of the Lake Minnetonka and everything, baby, because she is coming back for both of us. But of course, father got murked and everything. Um, Bill started to believe it because when Vicki was acting all weird, she gave a piece of information to Bill, like in his office. I'm like, yo, baby, it's me, Mary Lou. Yo, I'm here. I'm here, baby. I'm here. Yeah, I'm in this girl and everything. She got a nice ass body and shit. But I'm here, baby. I'm here. And he was like, oh shit, he done crapped in his pants again. So he knew it was true. He shot her. Of course, like the practical effects of like how the transitioning of Mary Lou when she emerged out of Vicky's body, uh, it started off a little bit like Life Force got like that little bit of the Living Dead, because she is dead. She got burnt. Um, but I liked how that transformation was when Mary Lou was materializing into a solid form. She had that little the ectoplasm and shit. Oh man, she really fucked Craig's ass up. That girl was strong. That girl was strong. She fucked Craig's ass up. I was laughing my ass. I was like, dang man, you talking about you trying to protect Vicky and shit and everything. Shit, Mary Lou, your ass left and right to the side to the everything. I mean, she was cowboy whooping the shit out of him and everything. Boy, I got so tickled right there. And of course, he found the real Vicky. She was in the trunk. Um, his dad brought the crown to Mary Lou. That was the one thing that she really came back on this realm to get the crown, to really relive that moment that she lost, that she so almost had in the palm of her hands. And of course, like they always said, the person who killed you and shit, they're gonna repossess your body and shit. So she repossessed. She actually possessed Bill. That was the end of the movie right there. It kind of left like in a cliffhanger and shit. You know what I'm saying? But that was really the end. But like Mary Lou, Prom Night 2, very great marketing strategy. Pretty good, solid. Um, the practical effects of Mary Lou emerging out of Vicky's body. I was so happy when Kelly got killed with her Diet Pepsi drinking ass and everything. It was one part that was really really cheesy is with the dude that was with the votes and stuff. Mary Lou found out that Kelly went in there and blowed him. Um, he changed the names. She got mad. She did that weird science, I'm electrocute his ass type shit. Um, the whole locker scene with the killing of the best friend of squishing the lockers, and of course that was like chopped up hot dogs and things like that as the, to look like guts. I could tell it was chopped up hot dogs or chopped up meat or something like that. Of course, there was like a little bit of a lesbian scene in there. I guess it was trying to be kind of lesbianish or whatever. Epic failed with that right there. Um, I know the actress who played Vicky, which is Wendy Lyon. The carpets did match the drapes. That's all I gotta say. And like I said, we got some TNA in there, just like on Prom Night. We had some TNA in that movie too. It's always something about TNA in horror movies. It's like whatever. Like that. Plot holes. There was quite a bit of plot holes, but they still kept it on the same energy of Mary Lou getting her revenge. She did anything in her power to get people out of the way of grasping that crown that she was so um, deservingly, um, you know, 30 years back. And I liked how they pulled the characters that was responsible for her death, pulling them in. I liked how that was, and then of course, like this is all about secrets, guilt, You got like teen pregnancy. You have like still a religious theme of how young women are still looked at today, if they are, embrace their sexuality and femininity and things like that. You still have people that slut shame, things like that. You still have like where people feel that being a good girl, that's the best girl, and being the bad girl is the awful girl and everything. You still have like those negative stereotypes like that. Even in this movie, and it highlights that right there. You also see the similarities and the contrast with both characters of Mary Lou and Vicki. Um, it was very interesting to see that right there. Like I said, this is the reason why she picked her, and of course, like her ties with Craig, which is Bill's son. And that I think that was part of it. I would say like 25% of it, of her, of to get back at Bill for what he did, but the 75% of it is actually her just actually like empowering this young girl um with some things that she was too afraid of, or she felt like if she stayed as like perfect like that is. And Mary Lou was like, hey, it's okay to be bad. It's okay. It's okay. It's nothing wrong with it. You're human. And that's the realization of like with Vicky. Like I said, she gave Mary Lou gave Vicky some help. She really did. But it was just in a sinister ass way of how she gave her some help and stuff to pretty much be the vessel for her to kill and murder people in this movie for that goddamn crowd. But I would say this like this: Mary Lou, she was the head bi, she was the head bitch in charge. She was that bad bitch, and the bad bitch got what she want, and she never stopped, even beyond the grave. She had a plan. She had a plan. And I would like to see like a remake of this. I like the original, I really do. But I like to see a good remake of this. Now, this is a movie I really like to see a remake of. And with better practical effects, and not too much CGI, but really get into the meat of like the whole this story. I feel like this story it can be worked on, and especially it can fit in this time of age. I think this movie, it is. I mean, the special effects is not really that great, especially with the weird science shit. But I did like the practical effects. But I feel that this right here can be an awesome remake and everything. And I feel that this would actually do very well, just like the original. I believe it has to be some very savvy marketing. I feel that like it just won't be something like of a cash cow type, a movie and blah blah blah. We do have like elevated horror, but this is actually a really great um this is actually a really good storyline, and it does have a lot. I mean, you have Euphoria, that's on HBO. That's a very popular show about the dark, side of like teenage life and things like that. Realist deal shit that teenagers actually do, actually deal with. And I feel that if somebody actually that is the writer for Euphoria watch this movie and actually understand the content of it, the storyline. Um, Still be a supernatural horror movie. I believe they can really pull this off. I think they could do that. I think this movie can be a good remake, and I feel that like I think like it should have like kind of like unknown actors in this movie, or getting pretty popular actors or whatever to like play the characters, and maybe like do a cameo of Michael Ironside with his glasses looking like Wilford Brimley. I think that would be pretty cool. I think they should do like cameos of like of like the characters that the actors that played the characters in this movie. I think that would be pretty cool. But that is enough in my time here at the Random Horror Show. Of course, I must bid you adieu. This is the end of the 4th season of the Random Horror Show. I'm taking a break, so I can be really relaxed and refreshed and ready to get back into horror. Now, if you want to suggest any movies that you want me to film review, you can type them down keys on the keyboard warriors, to the Random Horror Show at gmail.com. You can also contact me through Instagram at Texas Horror Babe on Texas Horror Babe, or you can holler out and give me a shout out on Facebook at the Random Horror Show. And I have had a wonderful, wonderful time with season 4. Very different. Glad to like do this. I have so much passion with this. I've always loved being a horror fan. I will always die as a horror fan. Cinephile, anything else like that, whatever you want to call me. But it's time for Miss Keisha to rest. And so I will be back with season 5. Just don't know, but of course, I'm gonna have a good break. And of course, people, y'all stay awesome and keep it rocking. And if you want to listen to other horror podcasts, I can like put that up. There's a lot of great horror content out there. First Class Horror. You have a Swedish Horror Nerd. Also check out my friend on Instagram, Beth Loves Horror. She's real awesome. She has really good reviews too on movies. She is definitely a very good stickler of reviewing movies. She's really good. There's Jack Berry, and there's also like the heavy metal show, Montag. He's on YouTube. If you don't like horror and you like action, there's Action Movie Book Club. You can find them on YouTube. You can also find them on Twitter. You can also find them on Instagram too. So there you go. And then just gave off a rundown list for you guys. And of course, coming straight up out of the Iron Pine Curtain, East Texas. And of course, I am booked solid this month with prom gigs, DJing. And of course, I'm very excited about that. And of course, like I said, it's prom season. And I said, of course, about 3 or 4 fucking times and everything. It's time for my ass to go. But thank y'all so much. And thank you for enjoying season 4 of the Random Horror Show. Y'all have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful night.